You're fired! Oh my gosh! Take out the trash!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jasper Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next. Happy Sunday to you all. Took yesterday off. Ran some errands, a little bit more Christmas shopping and what have you. But you knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time before the bomb dropped, before the other shoe fell. Yeah, Fredo got fired. All right, let's go. I'll jump right into this. This comes out of Breitbart. Nolte, Fredo finally got whacked. Yikes. Just think, for the rest of our lives, we get to write the following. Disgraced former Governor Andrew Cuomo and disgraced former primetime actor, yeah, you could say that too, Chris Cuomo. Wasn't it Henry II who said, "Will no one rid me of this corrupt Cuomos?" Well, now we're rid. Yes, we are at long last rid of the silver-spooned dilettante cancers on truth, decency, and most of all, merit. What a fall. Wasn't it just yesterday that Fredo was talking about running for mayor of New York and Andrew was on CNN with Chris every night to dry hump his legend into a run for the presidency? Sure feels like it was yesterday. What a difference a day makes. What I enjoy most about the fall of Fredo and Andrew is why they fell. The why is fascinating, illuminating, revealing. The why is also important to keep in mind when you look at the lack of values in the Democrat Party and CNN. Was that repetitive? Andrew Cuomo was not forced to resign for his direct responsibility in the deaths of countless elderly New Yorkers in their assisted living centers. Over 15,000 under his watch. Thousands died because Andrew required nursing homes to accept people infected with the coof. Thousands of innocent and vulnerable people died because Andrew forced nursing homes to pour this deadly virus into the very places where those vulnerable to the virus lived. Andrew Cuomo was not forced to resign about lying about his sociopathic policy or forcing government documents to cover it up. Andrew Cuomo was not forced to resign after it was discovered. He offered friends and family a concierge testing service where the people who really needed those tests, the elderly, were dropping like flies. You see, the Democrats were fine with killing off the elderly, who they see as a drain on public resources, needed to create the status utopia. Democrats also needed the elderly to as Republican voters, so the more who died, the better. You see, no, Andrew was forced to resign because he made a bunch of left-wing women uncomfortable while hitting on them. Yes, he grabbed a little bit of TNA, but who cares? See, if you're a Democrat, you can kill all the old Republicans you want. Just don't make the leftist ladies uncomfortable. The same goes for CNN. Fredo Cuomo was not whacked for violating his quarantine while infected with the China virus or the China flu. He was not whacked for staging fake exit of his quarantine in CNN. He was not whacked for accepting Governor Brothers' concierge testing service as the elderly dropped like flies. He was not whacked for grabbing a colleague's butt or joining Governor Brothers' crisis team or for ginning up violence in those black neighborhoods. Yes, you know, those lovely peaceful protesters from 2020. Or repeatedly violating mask mandates as he lectured the rest of us to max the fuck up. And last week, he was only suspended and expected to return after the holidays. When it was discovered, he used his position at CNN as an anchor to dig up dirt on his brother's accusers. No, Fredo finally got whacked. Well, we actually don't know why he got whacked. CNN is not saying. Here's the relevant part of the fake news network's statement. Chris Cuomo was suspended earlier this week pending further evaluations of new information that came to light about his involvement in his brother's defense. We retained a respected law firm to conduct a review and have terminated him, effective immediately. While the process of that review, additional information has come to light. Despite the termination, we will investigate as appropriate. Whatever that finally got rid of corrupt Cuomo, you could bet it had zero to do with his journalistic ethics or basic morality, and everything to do with offending the left and the malevolent mini-boss villain Jeff Zucker. Yes, Dr. Evil Jr. And contrary to what some are saying, he was not fired for helping his brother. Yes, of course, family loyalty comes first. Family always comes first. But to respect that loyalty, you do not betray another loyalty. the compact with your coworkers and audience. When those loyalties conflict, you make the hard choice. You don't try to have it both ways. Fredo should have taken a leave of absence from CNN. Would have been a smart thing to join his brother's crisis team. That was the only ethical decision here, and everyone would have respected it. Instead, he chose the unethical route of betraying his job and his coworkers. Fredo was not some impossible either-or situation. He's filthy rich. A leave of absence would have brought him no financial hardship. Instead, he chose to be a sneak, a liar, and a two-faced phony. Bye, Felicia's. Now we go from that to this. This comes out of Fox. CNN Stelter, yes, Brian the eunuch Stelter, as Tucker lovingly calls him, criticizes Chris Cuomo in a newsletter while broadcast mostly ignores Rolls and Brothers scandal. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to let it play out. His Twitter. This was the moment that CNN broke news to its 19 viewers that the network fired its only star, Chris Fredo Cuomo. Let's listen.
Yes, Chris Cuomo, one of the most popular anchors at CNN, one of the best known names in television news.
The only one
ethics and norms,
is worth
not
watching.
Once or twice, but many times. And that's ultimately what is the result of today's news, Jim. As you mentioned, Cuomo just terminated by CNN this afternoon. So this is a big surprise for a lot of people. Jim, I didn't expect to be on with you this evening talking about this breaking news, but we did know that Cuomo had been suspended, not just, for a week, not in the kind of way that's a fake suspension to take pressure off CNN. This was a real suspension. He was put on the bench indefinitely while management conducted a review. What we didn't know until tonight, Jim, is that an outside law firm also came in and that the law firm went through the thousands of pages of text messages and sworn testimony that was released back on Monday.
Oh my.
So there was clearly something in those documents that was found to be a serious breach of standards and practices. Was that he basically was acting like a staffer. He was like an unpaid staffer for the governor, and he was doing that at the same time he was working for CNN. Now, there is one part of the statement, Jim, that we don't know anything about, just to be completely transparent with the audience. It says there's additional information
all 19
that also
of you,
came
yes,
to light sometime this week. What we do know is that Cuomo was terminated earlier today. Now that difficult situation will not exist because Chris Cuomo has been terminated. But this is playing out on a very public stage because of Chris Cuomo's prominence and because of his relationship with his brother. I think this may be a situation, Jim, just drawing on my years as a media reporter, I think this may be a situation where it was
drawing on my years as a media reporter.
There were just so many headaches, time and time again, involving Chris Cuomo. That even though many viewers loved watching Cuomo prime time and look forward to his show, he was causing so many headaches for the network and for CNN staffers.
There it is. There it is.
This decision was reached.
Took what, 3 minutes before he,
covering other stories like this.
Started chewing him up.
Think, this is a moment where journalistic ethics are at play. And I know there were many CNN staffers very unhappy with the situation, very frustrated by Chris Cuomo. This was always a very complicated situation, but I think the text messages and the documents this week showing that he was very deeply involved, very cozy with the governor's office, very improperly working with the aides. That was ultimately why this decision was announced tonight.
In the last several minutes, Chris Cuomo, anchor here at CNN, has been terminated from...
Delish. So delish. Let me put this out there. You never want to see anybody lose their jobs. You don't. You don't want to see anybody being terminated. But little eunuch Stelter had no problem whatsoever slamming Cuomo once he got the initial out there. Once he got all the pertinent information out there. Now I'm going to go for the jugular. Now I'm going to slam Cuomo. As anybody who has stomached watching CNN, Chris Cuomo was their only guy. Sorry, Don Lemonhead. Sorry, little eunuch. Sorry, Jim, I got accosted. No one watches you guys. Sadly, the only ones who ever bothered watching CNN was because of Chris Cuomo and living vicariously through his brother, former disgraced governor Andrew Cuomo. So you got two disgraced brothers now. One the former governor and one a former commentator. At the end, those of us on the right, those of us who are conservatives, can laugh at this. You can. Yeah, you can take such joy in destroying this guy because of all the times, all the years. You look at the last 5 years, especially since Trump got elected. How many times he came over and slammed conservatives over and over and over and over and over again. You know, I like to use the comment, I'm not someone who believes in karma, but I hear it's a bitch. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Bengazzo. This is Once the Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below, like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.